Hey everybody, Jonathan here from the Dice Masters, and this is tutorial 2 in Lord of the Rings, the card game. In this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to set up the game and then going through the first turn. One thing I want to explain is a few of the cards in my deck that you're going to be seeing do not come from the original core set. I recently purchased the Hobbit Overhill and Underhill expansion pack. And so a few of the cards in my deck will be from this expansion, but all of the bad guys we're going to be facing off with is all from the core set. So let's get started setting up the game. Alright everybody, so here we are, and I'm going to show all of you how to set up Lord of the Rings, the card game. So first up is our player deck. And this is full all of the good guys in your game, so you're just going to want to stack this to the left. And then we're going to have our hero cards, and the great thing about this game is you get to customize not only your deck, but what heroes you use in battle. You have a max of 3, and I have chosen to use Beorn, Thalen, and Glorfindel. Alright, so next we're going to want to stack all of our little tokens here, just kind of off to the side. Now we have our resource tokens, progress tokens, and damage tokens, so you're going to want to put those right there. And then we have our threat tracker, and what you're going to do with this is you're going to add up this number right here. And that is your starting threat. So mine is 33. I'm going to put this right here. Now, just for space sake, I am going to remove this and put our current threat level on the screen, like so. Alright, so here we have the threat on the screen, so I can take this away and we'll have a little bit more room to work with. Now, in a 2 to 4 player game, you would need the first player token, but since we are just playing solo today, I am not going to use this. Now, the quest we are going to be completing is Passage Through Mirkwood, and the first card is Flies and Spiders. Alright, so with your quest deck, you're going to want to put it up here near the top. Alright, so we have that up there. Next, we are going to take our not so lovely encounter deck and put it right up here next to the quest deck. And just so all of you know, the areas next to the encounter deck and the player deck serve as your discard piles. Alright, so I think we're all set up, so let's get into the first turn of the game. Alright everybody, so here we are, and you'll notice that just a few things have changed. First off, our encounter deck has shrunk because according to these symbols here that actually match up with all the cards here, we have a tree, a creepy face, and a spider, and these are all the cards in this deck. So, whenever we are playing a certain quest, we only use cards that have these matching symbols. Another thing that has changed is that we have 2 cards out, and that is because on Flies and Spiders, the setup instructions on 1A say, search the encounter deck for 1 copy of the Old Forest Road and 1 copy of the Forest Spider, and add them to the staging area. Then shuffle the encounter deck. This I have already done. Once you have completed the setup instructions, you're going to move to the 1B side, and our quest begins. Alright, so 1. Resource phase. For each hero in the resource phase, you get to collect 1 resource token, and on the first turn you may draw 6 cards. Every other resource phase, besides the first turn, you will only be able to draw 1 card. So I'm going to put these all right here. And for now, I am not going to go into detail on what each one of these cards are. I am going to read them off, but I'm not going into detail of what they do and in some cases who they are. Alright, we have Sneak Attack, Blade Mastery, Citadel Plate, Blade of Gondolin, Dwarven Axe, and Gandalf the Grey. A great starting hand, and once that is done, we will move on to the planning phase, phase 2, where we get to spend these little tokens on any card in our hand. Yes, this is not our playing hand, we must buy each card we want to use. So I have 3 tokens, which means I can't buy certain cards like the Citadel Plate or Gandalf that cost more than 3. I couldn't save up as heroes accumulate these tokens every turn. So for now, I think I am actually going to spend all of my tokens to get Dwarven Axe, which says attached hero gains +1 attack, +2 attack. Instead, if that hero is a dwarf, so Thalen is a dwarf, and from now on, unless he loses this attachment, he will get +2 attack to his already 2 attack, which makes it 4, and that is amazing. One thing I do want to point out is that this symbol here, the tactics symbol, means that this attachment can only go on a hero or ally of that same sphere of influence, the tactics sphere. Alright, so we have him right here. And on my other one, I am going to buy Blade Mastery. And this card is an event. I get to choose a character until the end of the phase. That character gains +1 attack and +1 defense. So, woohoo! Alright, so moving on to the quest phase, phase 3. The quest phase is basically where I get to assign heroes to the current quest, and I do that by exhausting them or turning them over. So I am going to exhaust Glorfindel because he has my highest willpower. And then, fun, I get to draw another card. And I do this, and you'll see that it is the Mountains of Mirkwood. And for this next part, we're going to look at this top symbol, willpower. So 2 + 2 + 1 = 5. To my 3, you take the difference. 5 - 3 is 2. Alright, so right here, 5 - 3 is 2. And then we have to take our threat and raise it by 2. Yeah. If, say if this was not here, 3 and 3, we would have tied, nothing would have happened. And say if this wasn't here, 3 to 1, 3 - 1 is 2, so we would have gotten to place 2 progress tokens on the quest. So the benefits of the quest phase and the willpower is you get to either nothing happens, place progress tokens on your quest to eventually complete it, or unfortunately sometimes raise your threat. Alright, my threat is raised to 35. It's going up far higher than I would have liked it to. But next we're going to go into the travel phase. If there is a location, and this is not necessary, but it is optional, you may take it and put it right here and make it the current quest. So instead of, whenever you get progress tokens, instead of placing them onto the main quest, you'll place them on this little side quest right here until you get enough of this number to get rid of the location card. Alright, so I actually have 2 locations, and usually locations have something good for you if you can travel across them. So I'm going to read both to make sure I'm making the right decision. It says, after you travel to the Old Forest Road, the first player may choose and ready one character he controls. That's good. Choosing and readying means unexhausting the character, flipping it back upright. And then Mountains of Mirkwood. The first part says travel, reveal. If we decide to travel this happens immediately. Reveal the top card of the encounter deck and add it to the staging area to travel here. So this is not very good start off, but the response after Mountains of Mirkwood leaves play as an explored location, each player may search the top 5 cards of his or her deck for one card and add it to his hand. Shuffle the rest of the search cards back into the owner's deck. So it's relatively good, but I think I'm going to go with the easiest and least damaging location, the Old Forest Road. Now, the reason that we even have a travel phase is because it removes the willpower. So now, instead of having 5 willpower in the staging area, we will only have 4. So, yay. Next, we're going to move on to the encounter phase. Now, you'll see our current threat level at the top of the screen, and if an enemy has less threat than our current threat level, they immediately engage us. So I'm going to get this enemy to engage Bjorn. And next we move on to the combat phase, where we draw 1 shadow card for this enemy. We have no idea what this is, but we can be sure that it is really, really bad. And then we have to exhaust a character and make him an attacker or a defender. And because Bjorn's defense strength is far less than his attack, I'm going to exhaust him and declare Bjorn my attacker. So he has, actually no, we flip over the shadow card and goody, there is nothing to be feared. We automatically discard this card. If the card had a shadow icon like this one, we would read the shadow text and do what it says, but luckily it did not. So it is just Spider versus Bjorn. Alright, so 5 attack minus 1 defense is 4 hit points, and so we get to put 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this is the Spider's life, and it only has 4. We put 4 hit points on it, so we are going to get to remove it from play. Alright, so lastly is the refresh phase. We get to unexhaust all of our exhausted characters, and everything else stays the same. Alright, so I hope this has been really helpful. We have just gone through 1 turn, and as you can see, it was much longer than you probably expected. Turns in this game can take a very short time or a really long time, depending on your game situation. Alright, thanks for watching. Please join me next time as we continue playing this specific game and the quest passage through Mirkwood. I hope you have enjoyed these tutorials and that they're really helpful, and I believe that you will learn a lot by watching a full game played out over a series of tutorials while me explaining. Alright, see you next time guys. Thank you so much. Goodbye.